Welcome back to the 2019 PokerStars Caribbean Adventure, live from Atlantis, Paradise Island in the Bahamas. It's day 4 of the main event, the day we play down to the final table. And right now we have 15 players remaining, spread across 2 tables. A table of 7, a table of 8, and these are the chip leaders as we come back from break. Chino Rheem, after doubling up through Matthias Eibinger, has the chip lead with 4 million. And Pavel Vexler, after rivering that straight against Matt Berkey, is second in chips with 3.3 million. Still 9 players to lose today until day 4 is in the books. And we're about to kick off level 25 with the blinds at 20,000, 40,000 with a 40K big blind ante. Still got the same lineup on the main stage. You've got me, James Hartigan, him, Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies.
And we've got Maria Ho.
Hi.
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 So we're now playing with slightly less than a 50 big blind average because we only lost a couple of players during that last level. We have got 2 guys on the main stage who are super short. Marc-Andre Ladouceur with 12 bigs, Matt Berkey with 9 bigs. And then we've got the big stacks. Scott Wellenbach with 75 big blinds. Pavel Vexler, 83 big blinds, currently second in chips overall. Cards are in the air once again.
Raise.
That's
Can't
right.
Stop, won't stop, Wellenbach.
Can't stop the Bach. The Bach stops here. How about that? When he goes out, let's write that down for later. Here's my pen.
Oh, gotcha.
That's a gem. Oh, get rid of that. The Bach stops here.
This is going in for bearer.
What? Was that another all in? Berkey is also all in. Ace King.
How much? 655.
This
And
is
here
a
we've
fairly
got about 4.
interesting spot for Wellenbach.
It's not a lot of money, huh?
It's not. You are up
Well,
against
at least 1. Yeah. He's
the range of someone shoving over. You're under the gun open. And then, of course, Berkey calling it off for his tournament life. But given their stack sizes, of course, their ranges, Berkey's range, you know, is just a little bit weaker sometimes.
You're going to be dominating
Than Ace King.
so often, though.
Yeah,
Ace King or
there's
Ace King.
definitely a chance.
And
But they
Thanks,
also
man.
could have pairs as well.
Wellenbach
cards
gets
back.
out of the way. That's one of the kings folded.
Well, we'll see in a moment. I have
But
1
this
live card.
is a massive flip.
Yeah, exactly.
884. 10's cruising right now. Only a 23% chance Matt Berkey will hit one of the 3 aces or one of the 2 remaining kings. The turn is a deuce. 1 card to come. Berkey's tournament life on the line. 15th place finish versus doubling up. The river, it's a jack. Bye-bye, Berkey.
Nice meeting you. You too.
Hell of a player, class act.
Is it open on the feature?
15th place finish.
No.
Wellenbach's raised under the gun with ace-8 of diamonds. Not super out of line considering the dynamic here at the table, but unfortunately for him, Jeffrey Hakeem has got nearly the best starting hand in poker. Pocket queens, or as I like to call them, lady kings. That's a 3-bet to 300,000. Over to the French dog. No. That's French for no.
What you play?
1.5, 1.6, 1.7.
And I think given these
Plus
positions,
the two.
Wellenbach opening from under the gun and Hakeem 3-betting from the hijack, I personally would like to peel with more Broadway suited type hands versus ace-8 suited, just because the potential that your ace is dominated is a bit higher.
And yeah, ace-8 doesn't flop terribly well.
And if you feel like Hakeem's playing fairly honest off of, you know, his 45 to 50 big blind stack size, then this 3-bet looks fairly strong.
It does look.
Million.
Whoa, that is a
Wow.
4-bet to $1 million.
I did not see that coming. That
Holy.
was also an option that I just did not consider. And
This is not exactly the best timing. I mean, do you think he has the image to get anyone at this table to lay down queens?
I don't know, because we've seen a mixed bag of tricks coming from Wellenbach, and I feel like people who might have underestimated him or pegged him to be on the tighter side, probably they don't think that way anymore. I think he's shown up in some spots
Right.
with hands that they didn't expect, was willing to call off for his tournament life. You know, in a hand where I think the call was the right one, but it's not an easy one to make by any means. There are, you know, so many stacks shorter than Hakeem. Does he want to go with this? Does he think Wellenbach has what it takes to try to blow him off of what looked like a very strong hand?
I mean, even if you don't think he's full of it here, he's going to have ace-king a lot, right? That's going to be a big chunk.
Sure.
Kings is going to be a big chunk.
Yes.
Aces is going to be a big chunk.
Money have I used? 2?
And then what percentage of the time is what Jeffrey's trying to figure out? Is he just going to be just totally goofing around here? And even though he's shown himself to be a little bit of a tricky player, I think it's still way more heavily weighted
You don't
toward,
believe me or just that strong?
yeah, that.
And when people start talking to you when you're 4-bet bluffing, it'll be interesting to see how it changes his demeanor, especially when you're not used to maybe playing live or used to being in huge spots like this. 14 players left in the PCA main event. Can you withstand this person using their time banks in this spot?
Wow, he lays down the queens. I can't believe it.
Oh, there was a big gulp coming from Wellenbach.
You can tell he doesn't even feel good about it. That's what a nice guy he is.
Say,
I think that's like
I probably didn't mind a fold there, I would say.
Wow.
Not that I know what you had. But.
he showed a smile.
Hakeem looks
Yeah.
sick.
He didn't
He
show,
looks
but
sick.
he showed.
I smiled.
Wow.
God.
I mean, Wellenbach is,
Hey,
easily becoming the hero of this
Is he the hero
tournament.
we need or the hero we deserve? I always get those confused.
East Coast Canada is combining forces here, okay?
Keep the Europeans back there.
Canada wins for now.
Canada wins for now?
Yeah.
What do you mean? We got a Euro over here in the rail.
1,
Yeah, but he's a good Euro.
all right. 2. It's like, counts like 2, okay.
Counts like 2, yeah. 1.5. 1.5.
Yeah.
Have you heard about those fiery East Coast Canada, West Coast Canada rap wars?
No.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Oh, no. I know what I just walked into.
Sometimes they'll not say please and thank you to each other. I saw one time, I saw an East Coast Canadian rapper not hold a door for a West Coast Canadian rapper. It was a bloodbath. To be fair, he did apologize afterward, but.
Were you playing about $1 million?
I believe I had 845 to start the hand, sir.
All in. Can't stand the tension of going the other way. I just want to let it be over. Thank you.
And Wellenbach wins another one.
Not gonna lie, people say that poker is a young person's game, and Wellenbach is showing all of them that they are wrong, and I like it.
No, you don't.
Got some stuff happening at the other table. What's going on? Cards are on their backs. Money's gone in here on the turn. Matthias Eibinger with queens. Chino Rheem has got 6-7. Yikes. What a river card.
Thank you, sir.
Not a good river. Eibinger's out of here.
You're welcome, boys. Made you a little money. Everyone was bitching about the shorty. The shorty made the pay jump. So, like...
That's so Chino.
You're welcome. Anything I can do. What did you just shove? What did you just shove?
That is so Chino. Wynn got it in with king of clubs, 5 of clubs. Rheem with king, queen of hearts. This is all in pre-flop, I believe. Tommy must have been short. No 5, so Tommy Wynn, busto. Chino just a skosh under 6 million now. That's 13th place money for Tommy Wynn. That's $86,000. And we're down to 12. The dirty dozen.
Fucking boys were calling me nits and shit. She ain't getting paid, man. I can't pay her. She's not getting paid.
Right now, 12 players remain. So we've got 2 tables of 6, and Chino Rheem returns from the break as the chip leader with more than 6 million. Vicent Bosca second on the leaderboard with 4.2 million. Pavel Vexler, Scott Wellenbach, and Brian Altman also inside the top 5. But we do have some short stacks, and we have flipped the tables. What was the outer table has now become the main feature table. We've got the chip leader up on the main stage, Chino Rheem, and we've got 2 of the players at risk. 2 of the players in the danger zone.
Danger zone!
We're going to the outer table because we have an all-in and a call, and it's the short stack Army Bearer who has moved all in with ace-6. And he's been called by Scott Wellenbach with ace-9. It is Domination Nation. Army Bearer.
Are you saying I don't mean it?
At risk and behind.
No, he said actually I mean it.
Jack 7 deuce on the flop.
He came in as one of the short stacks today with 20 left. Battled down to the final 12, needs a little help here.
And he's going to need to hit on the river. He needs a 6 to survive. River card is a 9.
Good luck, guys.
And that will see Army Bearer eliminated in 12th place. He cashes for $86,000.
Very impressive performance from the Aussie Million champion.
Great to meet you. Good luck. So far, pass for us again.
So now we have a table of 6 and a table of 5. Nice pot for Scott Wellenbach. Vogelsang with Jack 10 of clubs on the button. That's a raise. 100K. Pocket 9s for Strelitz.
About 35 big blinds effective. I would expect Strelitz to 3-bet somewhere in the range of 350 to 390K. Hoping to, well, being more than willing to get a shove from Vogelsang. Christoph is going to have a tough decision here with the Jack 10 suited, whether he wants to continue post-flop or just shove it in and hope that Strelitz is bluffing. We do see that this is going to be a completely fair fight. An interesting sizing selection here by Strelitz. It's pretty uncommon to see something as small as 2.6x out of position. I think this is going to make Christoph lean way more heavily to just a flat. You know, he doesn't want to just stuff it in here and run into two queens. Definitely doesn't look like bluffy sizing, so that's going to make the situation a bit more interesting, and we're going to get some post-flop play here, I think, most of the time.
Mm-hmm. What's that? Mm-hmm. Oh, he calls. Queen, Jack, deuce. Second pair for Vogelsang.
Really not an ideal flop for Strelitz, not only because Christoph has flopped a jack, but more times than not, when Vogelsang raises calls this 3-bet, he's going to be all over this kind of a board texture. A lot of hands like King, Queen, King, Jack. Of course, Jack 10 suited. Sometimes it's strong. He's even Ace Jack, not wanting to just get in those 35 big blinds, playing for so much money.
Strelitz continues.
And electing to bet, you know, sometimes Vogelsang is going to have hands like Ace-8 of diamonds, Ace-7 of diamonds. He kind of wants to just like protect against that, maybe hope to take it down. But Daniel is also someone who's really capable of, you know, running a multi-street bluff. So he might be willing to set that up, especially with a spade in his hand.
Christoph calls the 2-7-5. This hand going to the turn. Deuce of diamonds pairing the board.
Nice.
As you can see, Strelitz has really set up a pot-sized back situation here on the turn. Doesn't really give him a lot of maneuverability here to bet 3 streets to get Vogelsang to fold a hand like a jack.
Check. Strelitz checks the turn.
Couple options here for Vogelsang, but most of the time I think that he's just going to check. Doesn't want to bet and run right into it. You know, if Strelitz has 2 kings or 2 aces or ace-queen or something, he doesn't want to just bet fold.
Yeah, he checks behind the river. There's the ace of diamonds.
And that is actually a pretty horrible card for Vogelsang, and really opens up the door for Strelitz here.
Do you know what we've got here, Griffin? We've got a straighty, flushy, paired board.
Yeah, and the thing that both of these guys are thinking in the situation is, you know, Strelitz recognizes that if Vogelsang has a hand like ace-queen, he's probably going to shove pre-flop. If he's a hand like ace-jack, sometimes he'll call, you know, pre and not shove, but it's, you know, it's kind of hard for him to have ace-jack here. So a lot of the times, Vogelsang's going to have a hand like king-queen, king-jack, jack-10, queen-10 suited. Maybe even queen 10 off, since there was only 2.x pre-flop. So a real great spot for Strelitz to bluff. I think that he would prefer to have a diamond in his hand because it makes it less likely for Vogelsang to have a flush. But it might be too good a spot for Strelitz not to go for. I know he's someone that more often than not, when faced with the passive or aggressive route, he's going to go with the aggressive.
Wow.
And as we see, pretty much the stone best card in the deck for him on the river, other than, I would say, the ace of spades. You know, a king's a bit dicey because so many of his jack, queen X hands include a king, which would improve to you know, the highest 2 pair on the river if it was a king. So an ace is just literally doesn't get any better for Strelitz as far as a card to shove on.
Vogelsang playing a time bank card, extends the clock by 30 seconds.
And Vogelsang, really tough spot for him here. You know, he starts to think about the kind of bluffs that Strelitz can have, and there aren't a ton of them. You know, he has to be turning a hand like nines into a bluff, but does he make it so small pre-flop? You know, if he has 7-8 suited, does he make it so small pre-flop and continue on this board?
No, it's not.
Yeah, he's really...
Is the deuce good? I had one.
Shocked. Folding deuces today?
I folded
that was going to be?
The deuce 7, bro.
And river cards don't get much better than that for Strelitz. Certainly lucky there, but being willing to pull the trigger is a really important thing, especially at this stage. And
to your bet, anyways.
Chino Rheem has raised with ace-5.
It's not you two, man.
Vogelsang with king-jack of diamonds in the small blind.
And for all intents and purposes, this should be an all-in and a call, especially with the kind of chips Chino has.
Are you steaming, buddy? Do you steam?
Chino would like it if it was more on the 8 to 10 big blind, as opposed to the 12.
I have, but you know.
But Chino, an experienced guy, knows there's going to be a lot of Broadway combos he's going to shove here. I don't think he's going to let this one go.
490? Whatever. Here.
Chino calls in Chino fashion. And Vogelsang's at risk and behind.
Pretty fair fight here. King Jack of diamonds against the ace of clubs, 5 of hearts. Chino obviously with a bit of an edge.
I had a pair.
Deuces?
Yeah.
If you flop a set, I hope it comes with a 3 and a 4. 1 diamond. We'll give him a diamond. 1. Not 2. You got to pick up 2. Right. Yeah.
3 diamonds and we'll give him a 5. How about that?
Vogelsang looking for a king or a jack.
Looking for paint.
One last chance to hit.
Ba-dunk.
Nice playing with you guys.
Christoph Vogelsang exits in 11th place.
Good game. Well played.
He collects $96,080.
And look at that, almost enough for a bullet in the super high roller. 96,000.
Good game, buddy.
And that takes us down to 10 players, 2 tables of 5.
I was peeling the second one. I was like, wait, what?
We need to get over to the outer table. All in and a call. Jeffrey Hakeem, the player at risk with king 3 of diamonds, up against Pavel Vexler with ace queen.
If Jeff busts here, he will be haunted by that pocket queens fold. Not an ideal day.
Oh, he was ahead on the flop, but he goes behind on the turn. Needs to hit on the river. Does not. And Jeffrey Hakeem busts in 10th place. Cashes for $96,080. The remaining 9 players are now guaranteed at least $116,460. So here are the final 9 players at Griffin. Chino Rheem is the chip leader with 120 big blinds, followed by Scott Wellenbach and Pavel Vexler. Daniel Strelitz and Brian Altman also have more than 50 big blinds each. We have 2 short stacks still. Mihai Manoli and Simon Debman, they are both in the danger zone with 16 and 15 big blinds respectively. Let's unpause the clock and get the action restarted. Well, here's another one on the big stacks, Griffin. Pavel Wexler starts the hand with 80 bigs, pocket fours under the gun +1.
And as one of the middling stacks, you know, if this was Strelitz or Bosca, especially Ladouceur, you wouldn't really want to be opening up pocket fours in this position, but because he has this 80 big blind stack, I think this is a good strong open here with the 2 fours.
Scott Wellenbach calls the 100K.
It'll certainly be his huckleberry with that hand, King 10 suited.
And now Marc-Andre Ladouceur has 8s on the button.
Again, I think we should expect to see a flat here from Mark. No reason to go buck wild here with 35 big blinds.
Chino Rheem in from the small blind.
We might be 5-way to this flop here, but
no, Brian Altman
does not like that hand.
Folds the big, so 4-way to the flop.
He's just like, what the fuck's wrong with you, man?
That flop is King, Queen, 7 with 2 diamonds. Top pair for Wellenbach, flush draw for Rheem. Action checked to Scott. That's 300,000. Marc-Andre Ladouceur folds his 8s.
Chino's not actually really going to be that crazy about this 300K bet here. He'll probably call to see a turn, but
yeah,
you know, their 5-high flush draw is.
Well, Wexler folds the 4s, heads up to the turn. She's not a diamond, it's the Queen of Hearts pairing the board.
It is a card that could get him a free card from Wellenbach, and it does.
The river is a 5.
I was 5.
Check, check. Wellenbach wins the pot. And closes the gap. Chino's still the chip leader with 110 bigs, but Wellenbach chips up to a 107 big blind stack. Simon Dedman and Mihai Manole both have 15 bigs. Marc-Andre Ladouceur has 7-4 of diamonds.
No touch.
Lets it go.
Mark is going to have to play very, very tight from this seat. Chino with the chip lead to his direct left. Brian Altman to his left, who's very, very stubborn and strong. No limit hold'em tournament player. So expect Mark, especially ICM-wise, you know, to be folding quite tight in a lot of spots.
So Chino Rheem has raised the button with ace-9 suited. Simon Dedman has 10s in the big blind.
And we should see an all-in and a call here. This is far too few chips for Rheem to consider electing to fold. He's going to expect to see some shoves here from some worse hands, some king jacks, king queens, some worse aces.
He had an ace. Yeah, I'm sure.
There is the all-in from Dedman.
I think I'm going to call you.
Chino Rheem wants a count, but thinks he's calling.
Yeah, I call.
There's the call.
We're slowing down, huh?
Simon Dedman with the best hand, but he's the player at risk.
I was good at this.
Could be worse, James. He could have ace-8, the dead man hand.
You got 10s?
He does.
Simon looking pretty confident, and then the gulp.
The flop. It's king 8-7. 10s are holding.
6 of spades on the turn for the fair fight.
No spade on the turn, but
More outs.
5 outs.
2 red 10s in the deck now, as well as an ace.
5 cards for Simon Dedman to fade. It's a 10.
Good luck, guys.
5 outs, 5 outs.
And I'm not going to make any pun on his name. Simon Dedman is out of the PCA main event. Our 9th place finisher cashing for $116,460. Taking us down to our official final table. The last 8 players in the 10K main event.
Well, I'm not too cheap to make puns. Simon says I just got sucked out on.
That's exactly the kind of thing I was trying to avoid. So Chino Rheem, back up to around 6.5 million.
Yeah, he's very, very friendly and very nice guy.
Yeah. I don't know the story between him and I. So Ivan was only playing for like 10%. I mean, I wasn't playing for big either.
But I think he got some part of
So
it.
now he's doing okay?
Yeah, he has a website.
The site is making money?
36.
Yeah.
Good for him. Good for him. Ivan's
150.
Yeah.
Scott Wellenbach, the Canadian qualifier, opening with 9s. Round to Marc-Andre Ladouceur, who's the second shortest stack with 25 big blinds. Pocket 8s. Just a call.
Yeah, I think if he has a little bit less, he's definitely gonna go for a pre-flop with that hand. Look at this, chip leader picks up ace queen on the button.
Even with Mihai Manoy having 10 big blinds?
4 or 5.
4 or 5. It's a big difference. 4 or 5.
Well, let's see. That's 2,
Yeah.
3,
4.
5. Like 5, okay.
8th place pays
Actually, more than
147K. 7th, 209K, a significant money jump. There's the 3-bet from chip leader Chino Rheem on the button with ace queen. Gets the blinds to fold, back on Wellenbach.
Yeah, Chino is the kind of player that if he has a chip lead and he's been running well, he feels good that way. And he's going to play a lot of pots and he feels comfortable and he's going to ride the wave. Definitely his strategy depends a lot on that as well.
Scott flats the 3-bet.
5, right?
Yeah, they're really, really deep. It's kind of a dream spot for him. A little bit worried about Ladouceur calling so strong that he can go all in that situation.
So he's getting like a little better than 3 to 1.
Yeah. But I think it's all, I think that Wellenbach plays pretty honest here against Chino Rheem. So saying that if he had a good hand, he would just raise him.
Right.
And if he has a hand that he wants to call with, he calls. So what you're really doing in this situation is you just pretty much only look at Chino to see how strong you think he is.
3-way to the flop. King, Jack 4. Wellenbach still ahead, but if the action gets checked to Chino and he fires in chips, there's a very good chance we could see 2 folds here.
Yeah, I like Chino here a lot.
Yeah.
No, he checks behind. 6 on the turn, doesn't change anything.
Do you think when Chino checks behind there, he kind of maybe makes it harder to get folds if he decides to bet now?
Well, it's a flop you're gonna check some stronger hands on, I guess. But I would have liked to see a bet, because you know when you bet now, you go also sometimes a little bit towards weaker kings or ace jack or something, or you know it's gonna be a little bit harder to get a fold from a jack. Like if you bet the flop, Wellenbach might think, you know what, I have a guy behind me. I'm not so sure about my queen jack. You know, I'm gonna fold. That's just never gonna happen on the turn.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, we get a delayed continuation bet from Chino, 490,000. Scott folds. And Marc-Andre folds as well.
Hey, he does it. He gets it done. He knew what he was doing.
And Chino Rheem increases his chip lead. He's up over 8.5 million now.
Can I have some loot?
Just as you suspected, Lex, Chino is riding the wave. He's playing like a man who can't be touched.
What do you have, Chino?
And for the moment, he kind of can't. Scott Wellenbach's second in chips and has just about half of the stack that Chino has.
It can make the nuts.
I think we're going to be sailing in the money again. Perhaps. There is a 10 big blind stack out there. Let's not forget about that.
Marc-Andre starts the hand with 19 big blinds. Doesn't want to play for his whole stack. Just calls in position. Brian Altman in the big blind, 8-6 of spades. 60,000 to call, almost 400,000 in the middle. I want to get in on this sticker action.
Croaks, my man. I can just send them all to you.
That would be great.
The ones that I have, yeah.
Altman does come along for the ride. 450,000 in the middle. Jack, 9, 8, Queen 10, flops a straight. 90% favorite. Top pair for Ladouceur. Bottom pair for Altman. A little something for everyone. Danger, Will Robinson.
Oh.
Strelitz does not continue.
Oh, man, this is trouble for Ladouceur.
This is real trouble for Ladouceur.
This is kind of when you think, okay, the pre-flop raise are checked. Now let's try to extract the most money from the big blinds. Ooh, spade draw now.
Now Altman with a spade draw. My goodness. King of spades on the river for pure insanity.
And that's a really safe card here for Marc-Andre. I wonder what he decides to do. I mean, if the pre-flop raiser delay bets this board, I mean, you know he's not going to have ace-king. So I'd be a little bit hesitant to just rip it in over this one.
Ladouceur, I think, at this point has to bet. He really doesn't want to give a free card here in case someone has a draw, which is incredibly likely given the dynamic.
Yeah.
You never start off thinking, oh, someone probably flopped it.
No, that's true.
$700.
Whoa.
There's the raise from Altman. This is turning ugly real fast.
Oh, my God. And this might save Ladouceur, actually. Because Strelitz with a bet in and now to call. I mean, that's going to show so much strength. So, I mean, these would have to be two guys that are bluffing for Ladouceur to be good.
You're not even talking about raising. You're just saying even a call here, maybe Ladouceur doesn't put another chip in this pot.
Yeah, I think he should be really scared here. Forget also not. All right, Yoda, slow down. No, but if you're if you're up against a big blind that raises this board, he has almost every single two-pair combination.
Right.
Queen 10, 10-7.
Yeah, now Marc-Andre's like, what?
Yeah, what? But it still takes a lot of discipline because you're so short.
And everyone is putting a lot of chips in this pot with Mihai Manole with just 10 big blinds.
Yeah.
There's the fold from Marc-Andre.
Very nice.
Crucial river card right now. King of spades. It is the king of spades.
Wow, you called it.
So Strelitz essentially has the exact same straight.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for this to have done it, but Strelitz When Altman raises, part of his range is going to be 2 spades there, right?
That's true, but he closes the action, and his pot outs are so good that check calling is fine too. So this was an aggressive move. This is somebody that checked it twice. Remember, like he checked the flop, then he just checked the turn with a flush draw.
And a little deception here by putting out a time bank card.
This is like, oh my God, I have Jack 9. What do I do now? You know? Wow, this is sickness.
$650.
So sick. So sick.
Strelitz makes the call immediately.
Oh, man.
And is going to relinquish many, many of his chips to Brian Altman.
And a spade, too.
If you hear the, oh, that's so sick, you wish you'd bet more.
Right. Well, he got called very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is pretty brutal.
Brian Altman now up to 4.6 million in chips. Third, Daniel Strelitz in dire Strelitz.
200.
Wellenbach with kings opens to 200K. Ace deuce for the short stack, Mihai Manole.
Do you think if his name was Wellenbacher, Chino would actually be afraid of him?
So we're playing down to 6 no matter what, right? Okay.
Really? This isn't the last level? No
Oh, boy.
Rut-row. Big time rut-row for Marc-Andre here, but he does have enough chips to just flat here, not 3-bet call or just necessarily stuff in 25 bigs. But, you know, you can't really fault him for going for it. This is a really massive hand.
Yeah, he's got 25
my
bigs.
hearing's starting to go at my age. I can't tell if you're talking to me or talking to me.
He is really
no problem.
Thinking about how he wants to proceed here, but I see him looking up at the dealer, which is not a good sign for him.
No.
Oh, boy.
Marc-Andre shoves.
Hard to fault him here, but it is going to end up being a bit of an ICM disaster with the quick call here.
Yeah, the call from Wellenbach. Marc-Andre Ladouceur at risk and dominated.
Potentially going out here in 8th place.
I don't think he can really fault himself too much here.
I'll stand up for this one.
2 10s for 25 bigs. I'm sure he knows Wellenbach's been opening as wide as Jack 9 suited and 4-5 suited even under the gun. You can't really do much, but want to take it down. 3 with the 10s.
We never do.
5 cards to come.
Maybe if you had something like ace-jack or pocket 8s, you could fault him, but pocket 10s.
Oh, this is going to be hard to come back from. King high flop and Marc-Andre Ladouceur down to 4% equity.
The French dog is about to be put down.
Give him a jack.
Only fair to put a jack out there for a little sweat.
Instead, it's a 6, which has Marc-Andre drawing dead on the turn. We lose Marc-Andre Ladouceur in 8th place.
Thank you.
Just a very strong performance here from Marc-Andre. 8th place going to net him over 146,000 US dollars. Played fantastically all tournament, I found.
Nice grab with ace.
Thank you.
It had to be somebody in 8th place, and it just so happened that Marc-Andre Ladouceur caught the business end of a cooler.
So we are down to 7 players. Everyone has now locked up more than 200K. And if we lose another player in the next 85 minutes, we will be done for the night. Bosker has Queen Jack on the button, looking at how much Mihai Manole has behind.
8.
Yeah, you know, with him raising here, he's going to have to call off the small bet, and he knows that's going to be for a decent percentage of his stack, about 40%. But he can also kind of afford to lose it if Manole does wake up. You know, if he raise calls here, loses 800K, he's still going to have a shove stack of 12 big blinds. And this is a bit too strong to just fold. But a limp also isn't too surprising given the way he's played this final.
Manole with king 10 suited.
Sure, I'll take a flop.
I think he might take more than a flop. No, he's going to check.
Okay.
Free flop.
Queen, Jack, deuce, 2 clubs. Ooh.
Oh, how about that then? Ace, Jack, deuce with 2 clubs. Bosca with second pair. Manole with flush and straight draws.
Now this becomes very interesting if Bosca decides to bet, because there are very, very few aces, almost none, that Manole would check in the big blind. So Bosca can very comfortably bet, even protect his pair of jacks here, thinking that it's almost always the best hand. But Manole has such a big draw that he should feel pretty comfortable at check shoving. So I don't really anticipate Bosca bet folding this hand. It's just whether or not Manole decides to shove or call. But I think Manole is also aware that he wouldn't really... Oh, is he raised?
Yeah.
Option C.
Check raised to 240,000.
Which is lucky because option D was like check raised to 250,000 and so on.
This is actually quite weird for Bosca too, because with the queen of clubs in his hand, that's less sort of Broadway straight flush draw combinations that he can have. Do you know what I mean? Like if he does think that he is check raising with a flush draw and is willing to get it in, you know, queen 10 of clubs is now gone.
I mean, we can take straight up air check raises out of the equation, right?
I think so, yeah.
So when he raises here, there aren't a ton of value hands that don't have an ace in it.
So Bosca,
yeah, but if he has an ace, he probably shoves over the limp, right? It's free money there.
So Bosca calls. We get the 10 of diamonds on the turn. Manole now with 28% equity, 5 bigs behind.
Man, this is a weird spot.
Very strangely played hand.
Pair and a royal draw now, though.
Yeah, he thinks it's a royal draw. Of course, the queen of clubs is in Bosca's hand. Well, finally, he is all in. And Bosca calls. So Mihai Manole has been grinding that short stack for pretty much 2 levels. And now he's all in and at risk. And drawing to a club, a queen, or a 10 on the river.
King of hearts.
11 outs in
queen, man.
the year of Romania.
You make 2 pair. He fold pocket queens.
See how comfortably Bosca called it off here, despite only having second pair. Recognizes Manole shouldn't really ever have an ace here. Way more weighted to big flush draws.
The river is another ace, and that seals the deal for Mihai Manole, our 7th place finisher in the PCA 2019 main event, out and cashing for $208,920. And we have our final 6. Day 4 is over.
What a classic PCA final table this is going to be. Just tons of, we got one interesting wild card and a bunch of absolute heroes.
Yeah, you're right, Joe. The story is the wild card, Scott Wellenbach, the guy who is playing for charity amongst some very accomplished pros, including Chino Rheem, who will be coming in with almost 100 big blinds. From the whole team here in the Bahamas, I'm James Hartigan saying good night from Atlantis.
Poker gods like me, so we'll see how I go.
I felt inspected. The judging eyes were looking on, closing in, closing on. I brought a message. The fallen seeds have come to us, fertilizing our souls.
Alright guys, good game.
I'm gonna brush it off. I'm gonna brush it off. I'm gonna do a good thing if you pass me wrong. Why do you judge? Why do
I probably didn't mind a fold there, I should say.